Okay, we discussed yum and RPMs and installing and upgrading packages yesterday. Now, I told you yesterday that we missed one topic, that is the run levels. So Linux has Karan shared you guys the run levels link. So whenever we restart our Windows, I mean Linux machine, we do init6, init init6. It reboots your computer. I have not used this command in front of you. So let's say let's share the screen. So this is the run level 5. In the run level 5, you have all the network available. It's a multi-user mode with graphical user interface available. So starting from run level 0 is like halt, shut down your system. So run level 0 is like your computer is turned off. Then we have single user mode. If you forget your password, if you've done anything wrong with your file system, if you have done any misconfiguration in your FS tab and your machine is not rebooting, or your file system is corrupt, maybe you want to fix it, scan it, repair it. So if the file system is mounted in run level 3, let's say, then you cannot fix it because the file system is in use. So you go to single user mode and we do whatever we want to do with the system files. Then there is run level 3. There is run level 2. It is multi-user without networking. Networking is not activated, so still you work with run level 2. I have not used run level 2. Never used it. And run level 3 is multi-user with all the networking and everything available, just the graphic interface is not available. Let's say if I do init3, I am in the console. I can see that the desktop is there in the background. Everything is there. If I do init3, you see, everything is gone. Now I am in command line interface on my console. So if GUI is installed, it means you are booting in your run level 5. And if I want to go back to GUI, I can go initialize run level 5, and it will run the graphical interface, and I can switch back to my username and password. And run level 4 is not utilized. And whenever you want to shut down your machine, you hit init 0. When you want to restart it, you will hit init 6. So these are the run levels of any Linux machine. There are some exceptions, like init in Solaris, init 0 will not shut down your system. Init 5 will shut down your system. So I am telling you this because there are always some exceptions. But nowadays, with any Linux distribution, init 0 is the halt state. So that's it with the run levels. I don't think we need to explain it further. So let's go with the topic. Let's say fdisk. So fdisk is the command. We can check. Okay. Let's first list what is our SDA. SDA is a 200 gigs hard drive. It has some partition available: SDA1, SDA2, SDA3. SDA1 is like we have a hard disk and we have made 3 partitions out of it. And one is df-h, one is root, the other is boot, and the third thing is the swap. This one is swap. So we have 3 partitions available. Now, let's say I want to add another hard disk to this computer. And I want to format it and mount it somewhere. So let's say I go to settings, add new hard disk, and let's say I can say the size is 20 gigs. Next, finish. Okay. So new hard disk is attached. If I say F disk minus L, it is not coming online.
I think you're not sharing that screen.
Okay. Yeah. Not there, right?
Yep, now we can see. Yep.
Okay. So I was telling you, we have attached a new disk, and it is not coming online. So there is this command I can share you. It will rescan our SCSI controller, and now I do F disk minus L. So now our new drive, which I just attached, is available. And if you don't know this command, you can always reboot your computer, which is not a good idea. So what I can do is I can share this command with you guys so you can note it somewhere. Let's say I can share it right now. So I have shared it in the group. Anyways, so my new hard disk is available. As I told you before, this is SDA1, this is my hard disk 1, and this is SDB. So it's our new hard disk. So let's say F disk and the name of the device. So I will go into the device setting, and if I go for M is for help. You can delete a partition, you can create a partition, and list known partition types which this operating system supports. We can print this menu, we can print the partition table. So if I do P print, nothing is there. So first, with N, we can create new partition. So if I do N, then it is asking me primary partition or extended partition. So anyone has idea of primary and extended partition? I mean, if someone installed Microsoft Windows anytime?
Yeah, wait, so that's, you're given an option to make one partition a primary.
Yes.
Like when you do an install from scratch.
Okay.
And then you have the secondary, which you could add on later.
Yes, from the and is there any limit for the extended partitions?
I believe yes.
Yes.
Windows.
Yes,
something.
that's 4. So you can, if you have one disk, you can format it. And let's say if you have 100 gigs available and you give 20 gigs to the primary partition, then you have 80 gigs available for the extended partition. So in the extended partition, you can further divide it into 4. If you have C drive as primary, you then can have D, E, F, G. That's it. You cannot go beyond that. So that's the extended partition. But now we are going with the primary partition. We are not interested in making any extended partition, and the primary partition, Windows or Linux can only be booted through the primary partition. They cannot be extended because the extended is the logical one. So let's by default hit P. It's a primary partition. Let's say partition number is by default 1. The sectors, these are the sectors available on my disk. So these are the sectors on the hard disk. Sometimes we have bad sectors, so the disk is divided into sectors. So I will start with the initial sector, and by default go on the last sector. Or I can give the size, but let's say I want to use this hard disk completely. So partition 1 of type Linux and of size 20 GB is set. Let's say if I do the print again, so now one partition SDB1 is created, and if I go quit here, it will not write anything to the disk. So I will hit either M for help or W for write. So you see W, write table to disk and exit. So if I do W, so syncing disks, and our partition is created. So like Windows, if you create a partition, first you have to format it. So like that, we can do mkfs.ext4 to dev sdb1, hit enter, and this partition is formatted now with ext4. You can do ext2, ext3, you can do xfs. I mean, these are all the partition types. And let's say I go in the configuration again, and if I go with the word L, so L is, I was telling you, list known for partition types, the types of partition this Linux system support. So 83 is by default Linux standard partition. We can go with Linux LVM and so many partitions it supports, but we mostly use the standard ones or the LVM in Linux. So I go quit here, and let's say I want to, I mean, the partition is created. And if you remember in Windows, when you create a new partition, you also assign it a letter, C, D, E, F. So in Linux, we don't have CDEF, so we will mount this partition to some folder. So let's go to MNT and create a directory mkdir, let's say data. And what we will do is mount dev stb1 to data. If I hit df-h now, so this SDB1 of size 20 gig is mounted on data. I have temporarily mounted this partition. If I go with the reboot, this file system will be gone. I mean, the file system will be there, but this mount point will be gone. So to permanently mount a file system, we go with the FS tab and do some configuration here, like it's our device SDB1. It should be mounted on data. Okay, what's the path? I forgot. MNT data. Data. It is ext4, and rest is the same. Defaults 0, 0. And if I go with the reboot, this partition will remain there. So we do the entry in FS tab. So we should restart the machine, or do you trust me?
I believe we trust you
Okay,
because
so
you permanently mounted it.
yes, it's permanently mounted. So if we go with the reboot, it will be there. So that's how we add the standard partitions. There is all if we go with the installation, I have selected intentionally, because this is the lab, we have selected intentionally the partition type as standard partitions. There is another concept which is called logical volume manager, LVM. What it does is you have partition root, and that partition is, let's assume it's full. Now it is in some operating systems, it is even easy to extend the root partition, but mostly you cannot extend the root partition right away, because to unmount, maybe you need to unmount a partition before expanding it. But the root is used, so it will not unmount, because the file systems, the processes are running, the IDs are stored in the root partition, and you cannot expand the root partition. Then you can be in mess. So there is a concept of LVM, but there are workarounds. I mean, they are risky. You can do it. It is very difficult to do, but the easiest way is why your root can go full. There can be multiple reasons. One of the reasons is you have huge logs coming in var log, and var is mounted on boot. So what you can do is you can attach a new disk like this, and you can mount log folder. You can like temporary mount this directory, this hard disk into, let's say, data, copy everything from log directory to this directory and mount it to var log. So the logs will go in now this hard disk. Like what I will do is var log. I'll go in var. So this is log directory. This is mounted on root. So what I will do is I will copy everything in the log, and let's say I will copy it to MNT data. And when the copying is done, what we can do is we can mount dev stp1 to var log. So now we have moved. I mean, I use the command cp. We can move, actually. We can move everything to var log, and we can mount on SDB1. So the amount of space used in log directory is transferred to SDB1, and you can get some space from the root. So that's the easier way, and you can do like that. But there is a better approach. Let's say I do fdisk. Okay, I was telling you LVM. LVM is like logical volume manager. It gives you the logical volume. If you have one hard disk, 100 gigs of space, and you make LVM out of it. Let's say it's about to be filled up. You can attach another hard disk of maybe 200 GB. And you can make that 200 GB the part of 100 GB, and logically it will give you a 300 gigs of space. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So we can add multiple disks. We can make a logical volume and present it to the OS, so that, I mean, there is no limit. You can start adding the disks and giving space to the root, and you can start expanding it right away, and there is no reboot required, nothing. So the root partition should be LVM. Your packages, if you want to install some database on, let's say, OPT, or you want to do some optional packages, whatever your software is, or you have a website which is running on var www. So we always mount those for partitions as LVM, so that if the space is gone, we can add a new disk and we can expand it. So let's say if I go with fdisk, if I go with VIE first etc fs tab, I will delete this entry. I will unmount, like umount is unmount, mnt and data. It's not mounted, df -h. It's mounted on data command. Created a folder at mnt data and mounted it on data, because on slash we have data folder already available. So that's why it went there. So I have created this folder, I mean, some time ago. So yep, let's -li data. I created this on May 22. Yeah, maybe 3 days ago. So, and fdisk -l. So I have new disk available, 32 gigs. And the increment is from B to C. If I do fdisk and new partition, primary, default, and L, H, E, and it is still same. Is it 8E? Yes, it is 8E. And W, and now do it again, and print. Okay, our hard disk is there. Let's continue and see if it gives the error. There are a few commands. I can share you them later. But first of all, what I want to do is I want to create a PV group, persistent volume. Like PV create that dev SDB1. Let's try with SDB1. Okay. EXE4 signature detected. And yes. Because it was already formatted, maybe. So I have created with the same old SDB1, which was 20 gigs. So we have created a persistent volume with our second drive. First drive was with our operating system is running. The second drive is SDB1. And so I have a command pv create, and then we can create, then we can give the next command vg create. And let's say we name the volume group as CENTOS _ VG. So we are creating the group here, and we are creating the group for that dev SDB1. So our group is successfully created. And if we do logical volume, now we are creating our logical volume. So for that logical volume, lv create -- name. The name should be CentOS _ new volume. Maybe you can call it 1 or new volume, and then say give it 100% space free, and add it to the CentOS VG. And this is our CentOS VG. Where is the CentOS VG? This is our CentOS VG. So the logical volume new vol is created, and the command is lv create. We are creating logical volume. We are giving it a name. All the space available in that volume, we are giving it to this volume group. So this volume group is now created. I mean, this is confusing a bit. You need to practice it. What else I can say? And then what we can do is what we can make. Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand what's the logic behind creating a volume group. We understand we're creating a physical volume there with PV create. What's the logic behind creating another group volume? Group volume is like, this is the syntax. We have a volume group, and we can attach all the volumes available to that group. And then we can extend that group. That group actually contains all the free available volumes. That, let's say we can create another volume, and we can attach it to the group. So we have group and volume, both they work together. I mean, we cannot do it independently. That's how it works. So we have group available. My question is, what's the logic? I mean, what is the reasoning behind to create another volume within the physical volume that we already created?
Within the same volume? No, which volume?
No, we used PV create first, right? That's, yes. We created a physical volume.
Yes.
why are we creating a group again within that
Which
physical
group?
volume?
Which group?
That volume group that you
VG?
use. Yeah, VG create.
We created a volume and we created a group, right? We created two things.
Yes, but my question is, why do we need to create a group?
We need to create a group because let's say we create another volume, dev SDC. We have another disk available, right? So we will create another volume with dev SDC, which is a new disk. So that disk will be added to this Centos VG group. So that in the VG, it's like the main group, and we have persistence volumes, maybe dev SDB1, dev SDC1, dev SDD1, and so we can have many persistent volumes, and we can add all those volumes in one group, and then that group contains all the volume as one logical volume, all those physical volume as one logical volume.
Okay, so it'll be an expandable to SDB1 to SDBC.
Yes, SDC, SDE, SDF, G, H. So that's how we can extend the group and add all the space in that group, and then that group starts growing and our logical volume starts growing. So we have physical volume and then we have a logical volume.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought LVM will take care of all this, that we don't have to do it manually.
LVM is the logical volume manager. It is the, let's say, it is the suite, it is the process. Okay. How we do it, that's how we do it.
It all depends on, it's not like EBS concept in
it's not like
EBS,
what's
elastic
EBS?
expansion within AWS, right? As the storage gets filled up, it spins up another hard disk automatically.
You know, there are scripts behind that. Maybe those scripts are doing the same thing, but on the creator ease, they have just like expanded it. But there are scripts in cloud which work in the background, and the base is the same.
Yeah.
So we are doing it with extension 4, and okay, what we are doing? We are doing CentOS dev, CentOS VG, CentOS new volume, and this is formatted. Now, this volume, which is a logical volume, before we were mounting. Okay, who's there? Someone just sent me a message.
That was me. I was just sending the stuff.
Oh, yes. So, before we were mounting dev SDB1 into data, right? But now we will do dev CentOS VG, CentOS volume to data. And if I do df -h, we have this logical volume available on data with the size 20. And if I go to FS tab, and what I can do is I can copy this and I can mount it like that. Again, ext4 and defaults. Who's there? I'm hearing some background noise. I don't know who's there. Anyways, where were we? Defaults and 0 and 0. So now we have mounted a logical file system, but we know that we have now we have volume group available. And this is when we don't have a volume group available initially. So we have to create the volume group, we have to create everything. But let's assume that we have a hard disk available and we have formatted it with fdisk dev SDC. So we can print SDC is available. So let's try to add this SDC in the already available 20 gigs volume. So what I can do, quit here because we did whatever we wanted to do. And let's say LV scan. Okay, right. I was doing it the correct way. I was confused. So I have added that disk here. And what I will just do is LV resize again -L, give 100% free space to devs Centos VG. and CentOS underscore new wall invalid. I'll be decided my 100% free. Okay. So now the size has grown from 20 gigs to 50 gigs. But still, if I hit df -h, the size here is 20 gigs. So there is another command. It's available in group, but we need to resize the actual partition. So resize to fs dev CentOS vg CentOS volume. We have resized it. And if I hit df -h, it is now 50G, 20G plus 50G. I can send you the complete procedure. But that's the concept I just wanted to show, that you can increase the size without rebooting or restarting a system. So the size is now 50G for that volume. If I hit history, let's say first we created the persistent volume, we created the group, and we gave all the space available for that volume to CentOS VG. And when we were adding another disk, what we just do is we format the disk, we set the partition 8E, we extend it, we extend the group, we just resize it. I forgot the percentage sign here, so it's give all the space to this new volume and then resize it, and you're good to go. I can make complete document. Otherwise, I think Karan has shared it from shared the link how you can do it.
Can you share the? I shared up to
yes.
Up to 979.
Sorry.
I shared up to 979. Can you share from
what is 979?
From line 971 for your history.
I have history. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So if you go down, I shared up to 979 steps.
Should I share up to 979?
If you could share from 980 all the way down up to 86.
Up to 86. There's everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that, but it's so much I have done.
No. From 980 to 986.
Okay, 982. Where is 980? 980, 980. So that's it. That's what you want, right?
Yeah, because I didn't share like the resize or VG extend.
Okay, let's say I can share it right away. I mean, but ignore this command. Okay, 982.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's how you can extend the LVM, and there are few commands: LV scan, LV display. So what you can do is, if you don't have any idea what volumes are already created, so this is the path. You can grab the path. So I can make a small document and I can share it with you. Let's say what topic we need to cover today.
Jishan, quick question.
Yes.
Do we have predefined scripts like these? Say, suppose if I have a task and if I want a script,
you can always make a script yourself.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I'm doing it once, and if I know that there is a need coming in, a week later or a month later, if I want to run the same script.
Yes,
okay,
you can do it.
We can run the scripts in
but
here.
You have to input at least. You should take some input from it.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to add SDC or SDD, so you can take as an input what volume you are working on. So yes, or you can install complete Linux using scripts. Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
So you can take backups with script. You can do pretty much anything with the scripts. Every command you run on the bash, you can use that command in the script. So we needed to cover this. This LVM, it's always confusing. So mount default system. Let's go installing Apache. So the disk LVM is done. The standard partition is done. So now what we can do is you can do yum install httpd if it is not already installed. It's taking some time. I don't know. Loading mirror speech from. It's already installed. And with the latest version, nothing to do. And let's say service httpd status. And yes, it is running. So if I go to browser, my IP is IPAS. It's 139. So let's say I go to the browser and I hit, you can see the browser, right? I hit my IP address. Then this testing 123 page is there. The page is used to test proper operation of Apache, and it is the introductory page available with you. Means our Apache is running just fine. Okay. Let's say you want to see, okay, if it is the real Apache, so var www html let's say I want to touch my own page, index.html, and I want to say hi, hello, yeah, everyone. Okay, my custom text page is there. And what I want to do is, if I hit refresh, hello everyone is the new page. So if there is no page or nothing available, it will give you the default page. And if you have your own code available, you can see the browser, right? You can have your own code here.
Got it.
So this is the very basic stuff that we have, but HTML is very rarely used. So everything today works with the WordPress. The website, most of the websites, maybe hundreds of thousands of websites, work on the CMS, content management system, that is WordPress. So most of the websites these days, they work with the PHP. So by default, Apache do not support PHP, so we have to enable support for PHPs. So PHP is a processing engine for PHP language. So how we are going to do that? Okay, but first let me see, should I cover anything in Linux before this? So yes, everything is pretty much done except one thing. We are going back. I wanted to show one more thing from the system side. Then we can discuss. Let's say this is the last topic from the system side. Then we will move ahead to the. Where is my VM? We are running. Yeah, there it is. This is our last topic from system administration. As the now we will move towards the packages, the system, the software is running over it, like Apache, like MySQL, like PHP, like we will be installing the Dockers, containers, everything. But we are done with the Linux administration. So any question till now? The most important question I had in mind, because I list down what I need to tell you in the class. So if you forget the root password, if you have the root password, you can reset the password of everybody. But if you forgot the password of root, what you will do?
Reset from run level.
Reset it from run level. Yes. So what you will do, but the restart is required to go into the run level, because you have no access to machine. You cannot do init one. So you can go is you can restart your machine, and on the reboot you hit E. You have some time, few seconds available. You edit the boot parameters here. You can see the screen, right? And this is a line Linux 16. Yes. So what we will do is we will replace with this read only switch with read and write switch, so that we can write the file system. Okay. Then initialize init init is equal to sysroot. I mean, it's the default syntax how you're gonna do it. So what I will do is take to the shell bin /sh and hit Control+X simultaneously. So it will start this machine in a single user mode. And okay, it has not gone there. It is booted up. Let's do it again. Yes, it is booted again, and it has given me the console. Okay, this is rebooted from here. Should work. Edit. RO should be RW.
Quick question,
yes.
Would you only do this if you were given root permission?
Sorry, come again?
You could only do this if you're given root permission, right? Because if you're
no,
a user...
no. If you are given console access, it doesn't matter. I am not coming as a root user, or I am coming as any user. I just have the console. I mean, if you have the cloud access, if you can reboot a VM, if you have those rights available, you can reset the root password, because
okay,
I mean, the root is not there, so nothing is there. So you need to just you can come as an anonymous user, and if you have the console access, you can do it.
Okay.
So the physical security is also very important. So sysroot bin sh and then Control+X. Yeah, same thing. I don't know what I missed. So now what I can do is pass wd, EASS wd. Okay, no, I think I need to mount the file system first. Chroot sysroot. Chroot sysroot. Or what I can do is chroot sysroot. I'm not typing okay. Chroot sysroot. Okay, PASSWD. That's it. You see, if I am doing passwd, changing password for user root, it has not asked me for the old password, right?
Yes.
And I can do ABC123. Yeah, password is shorter than 7 characters. It's a bad password, but ABC123. Is it accepting it? Yes, it's still accepting it. So let's say reboot -F, and let's try with ABC123. ABC123. You can see that I am logging with ABC123. And open terminal. Let's go and reset it again to root 123. Root 123. So now I have changed it back from ABC123 to root 123. As I'm already logged in as root user, so it will not ask me for any password. So that's how you can reboot a machine in a single user mode. You can fix bad file sectors. If some file is corrupted, some inodes are corrupted, you can fix, scan everything in a single user mode by using in the single user mode the same way. I can share the commands with you in the group, so you can all practice resetting your password. So let's go back to the shell. I mean, sometimes even anybody can forget the password, and maybe there is a guy who changed the root password and left. So you should know how to reset the root password. Okay. We were discussing Apache. So Apache has a configuration file, etc httpd.com. Okay. Let's go to the directory first. cd etc httpd ls. We have conf directory there, and we have httpd.conf. I told you in etc, all the configuration file goes to etc, the log file goes to var. So if you want to search httpd.conf, it is very likely that this is present in by default in etc directory. So that's why I went to etc directory. So this is my configuration file. I don't know. I am okay. Let's continue. So I am listening on port any. I discussed yesterday. No, not yesterday. In maybe the first and the second class, that every service listens on some port. So what I can do is I can do listen 80. Maybe I have 2 NIC cards attached. Maybe I have 3 NIC cards attached, and all of them have different IP address. So let's say I want to say just listen on, just run this service on 192.168.16. What's my IP? 136, I guess. We can double check it. No, it's 139. So now only on this IP, this port 80 will work, and it will listen on this IP address only. Otherwise, if you don't give it anything, it will listen on any IP or any port. So what we can change is, okay, the hash sign tells that this is commented out. So all the comments start with the hash sign. If there is no hash, then it means this thing that is active, rest is just commented out. So why I went to var www.html to put my index page, because we have defined document root. Document root is the root of your website, and everything starts from there. You can have var www.html, then you can have your index page, and that index page can call some further directories, like you can have CSS, you can have images, you can have uploads folder, you can have anything in the website on under different folders, but it all starts from this root directory, and your index page should be in this root directory. And then you can call anything from that root page from HTML directory. I mean, there is some options you don't need to care about. You should know the, okay. Then there is another thing, directory index, HTML. I use index.html, but if I have, my website has 2 pages, index.html and index.php. So index.php, I want to serve index.php first. then I should write index.php and then index.html. So whenever my website will boot, it will boot with the index.php page. And if I want to browse somewhere index.html, I have to do it manually. Or if index.php is not there, then it will go to index.html. Let's say I have a website which runs on PHP, but something goes wrong. So I have maintenance page available. I rename index.php and automatically the website will switch to the index.html. And there is some maintenance message written there that this website is under maintenance or down due to this reason, and we will come back soon, very soon, whatever. So that's how we define the priority. First look for index.php, then go with index.html, index.htm, index. Whatever. So there you define your first page. What should be served first? So the error and access logs, we can define the location. Should it go with the default thing, or it should go to the specific directory? So I am leaving everything default here. And yes, that's pretty much it. And then we can go to the virtual host. Let's say I have done the configuration, so I should service httpd restart. So I have restarted the service, and if I go into the var log directory, there should be a folder httpd, and there is the folder. And there are some error log and access logs. So if I do the tail -f access log, I can go into my browser. Let's assume that I am in my browser. I'm sharing this terminal for some reason. If I hit refresh, 192.168.116.1.
We cannot see the web page.
You cannot see the web page because hello everyone is written there. So I have intentionally not done it. I just wanted to show you the screen that's how if I am hitting refresh, it with every single refresh, it is giving me the entry in the log file. That 192.168.1.1 is trying to get this page, dated, time, and Windows NT 10, Win64. It is telling, and it is saying I am browsing from Firefox version 78. So it will give you some information. If there is some error log coming in, which there should be no error log because I mean I have not done anything. Okay, now it is giving some no. It is saying no. This is not application error log. This is some other error log. So access log. That's what I was telling you, that that's how you get the log entries. So but very quick, what I can do is very quick, because I don't want to cover any extra topic today. More access log. So this is our log file. Okay. What I want to do is cut -d and take space -f1. So this is my IP address. What I can do is uniq -c. So I have like refreshed 19 times. So I have browsed this page 19 times. So now it is so easy. If you just want to filter out the IP address or anything, you can apply the switches. I don't need to grep anything because I just want to see how many users are hitting the website with the IP. So we can easily say block this IP by using a firewall. Or if we are running IP tables or we are running some local firewall in the machine, we can automatically push the IP address to the our IP tables, and we can block it like that. And maybe after 15 minutes, you can release it. So to overcome the load, if there is some huge traffic coming in from one IP address, maybe someone is doing denial of service, you have no sophisticated tools available. So you can write scripts to avoid overloading of your server. So this filtering out the desired information is pretty much very important. And this is a complete line. This is a complete line. So everything goes to the firewall, and firewall doesn't know what 19 is and 192.168.1.6.1. So it will give you an error. So what you can do is now again cut -d. Cut -d again. I can say space. I have filtered out. This is the IP address, and I can say the field should be, let's say 2. No, there's nothing in 2, nothing in 3, nothing in 4, nothing in 5, nothing in 6. Yes, 6 is there. Nothing in 7. Yes. So this is the most occurring IP address. So 19 is gone. So why I was doing it randomly, F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, because I don't know how many spaces are there. So I should have counted it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, this is the 7, and maybe this is the field 7 after the space. So taking space as a delimiter is not a good idea, but I have no other option, because other than this, I can use dot as a delimiter. But that again gives, we have 3 dots available. So you can work with the log files like that. So if I go with yum install -y MariaDB. So what is a MariaDB? MariaDB is a database. We have so many databases. Microsoft has its own database, MS SQL. Linux has MySQL. Oracle has their Oracle database. And there are so much Cassandra and a lot of databases are there. Why we use database? Because they are structured data and very high performance computing strings. I'm not a database administrator, but I can show you some commands, how we can create a database, how we can give permissions to a database, maybe how we can see the tables and how we can see the contents of a database. So just to tell you that how the application is working, because Jabbar told me that I should tell you what error codes are and how application works and how to troubleshoot them. The main point is you can see how it is done and what are the concepts behind it and why we are doing everything. So like if someone asks you, okay, only Apache should listen on only this IP address. So you should know there is something you can modify. So at least you can say, yes, I can do it. And then you can go and search Google for it. So that's the point.
So, yeah, well, what's being asked, at least you should have an idea so that you can do some research and execute it.
Yes, so you can buy some time that, okay, I know this stuff, it can be done, let me do it. And then you can go to Google and search the commands, or you can do it. So if it is LVM, if it's standard party, if it is root partition, you can refuse right away. It is very risky, it is very tricky. As a level administrator, I should not be doing it alone. So a senior administrator should be assigned. So you should know the risks also. Or if someone can tell you if Apache is running, okay, my database is not running. First, you can telnet to the port and you can tell, okay, the database is running, might be there is something more to be digged in. So small troubleshooting, the service is running. The first step is you go to telnet the service port. Like I can do, my database is installed. So nfchat, I can go telnet, localhost, port 3306. The database runs on 3306. I have installed the database, I have not started it. So the connection is refused. If I go service, MariaDB start. Okay. Service MySQL start. That's strange. MariaDB is there. Yes. It's to the list. MariaDB dash server is not there, I guess.
You have to enable it first?
No. Actually, I have downloaded the client, but not the server. So I am doing the MariaDB server.
Jishan, quick question. Yeah. So these are the same logs that that go into Splunk as well?
Yes, these are the same logs. Correct.
Okay. All right.
These are the same logs, but sometimes either we send the raw log or we customize the log according to Splunk. I mean, maybe Splunk takes a typical format that date should be in this column. Maybe you can customize writing your log files.
Okay, got it.
So, but the Splunk will tell you how you can, what should you do? If you're taking the Apache logs, maybe you should make the logs with this syntax. If you're taking the SQL log, you can, but everything is on the machine and we send it to our syslog servers.
Got it.
Okay. I will install it. I will start the service, but we can continue from tomorrow for this topic. I can just tell you how to install it, and that's it. We will discuss it tomorrow. So the basic idea for this course is like, you should get through the interview. Whenever someone asks you something, you should have a little idea how to reply that. In the meanwhile, you can practice it, and maybe even if you are the first timer as a Linux administrator, you can easily get level 1 job, because all the documents available with the company, they will provide you the document. You will just execute the steps. First thing is you can clear the interview, and you should know how to answer anything. You should know what is LVM. They can ask you LVM. They can ask you about ports. They can ask you about whatever we are doing, standard partition. What is the logic? What is the difference? And what's the package manager? What we do with the RPM? So what is yum? So for the level 1 administrator, they will not ask you, I mean, anything about what we have done.